This is the #1 NBA podcast in the world.
Obviously, I love the game of basketball.
With Greg Poehler.
Mama, there goes that man.
And we're back.
They missed us.
Welcome back to the latest edition or episode of the #1 NBA podcast in the world. My name's Greg Poehler, as always, your host, along with my producer, Johnny Rollins.
Johnny Rollins? What the fuck?
Does anyone ever call you Johnny?
You know what? Yeah, at my old job, there was one guy. He was from Poland, and he used to call me Johnny. Johnny.
Well, it's a different look for you.
Johnny.
Yeah. We're back. Started as always at the end of the round of the playoffs, and wow, what a week or two it was of NBA basketball. Couple surprises, couple non-surprises. We'll go over. I want to start with my own betting. What do you want to call it? Travails.
Yes.
Tragedy.
Because it ain't a damn success.
As you know, last time I mentioned that I'd bet 1,000 on the Celtics, the Knicks, the Mavericks, and the Nuggets, all to win the series. And there was a moment there, which I sent in our chat, where it all looked really good. I mean, the Celtics had won, the Mavericks had won, both the Knicks and the Nuggets had 3-2 lead. And so I had the opportunity to cash out at that moment for something like 3,000.
Who does that?
Exactly. That's my. I'm glad to have your support on this because I am a let it ride type of guy.
Okay.
Always have been. You?
Even if you were one of those people, I have a wife who would be like, hell no.
Well, I mean, it's worked out for me sometimes. Like there was one time there was a bachelor party I went to in Connecticut in a casino, and this was in my early 20s, and I took out $1,000 before the party. I was like, this is what I have to lose, basically. Mm-hmm. And we on the way there, we took like a bus, a whole bunch of morons. Okay. And I was like, I'm gonna go the first hand. I'm just gonna go and bet 1,000, and that's it. That'll be my bet. If I win, I win 1,000. If I lose 1,000. I just cut to the chase.
Okay.
So everybody was kind of in on this idea. So we get to the casino, and I have 30 dudes like in back of me cheering me on. Sit down, put down $1,000 cash. They're like, "You want it all like on this?" You're like, "Yeah, let's go, let it ride." And blackjack. I got 1.5 times, so that's 1,500. And then I didn't bet the rest of the night. I just sat back. And
See, I've gotten up from a blackjack table up before.
One time.
I don't bet a lot. I don't gamble. Okay. So I was like in Atlantic City. I didn't know how to gamble. Yeah. The dealer was kind of helping me out, giving me some tips and stuff. And then I think I bet $60 or something like that. And I walked away with $275, something like that.
It's a great feeling when you step away.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I know nobody else does this.
Yeah. And it's like I didn't find it that fun. You know what I mean? The dealer was helping me, so I didn't feel like super smart.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm good, man.
There have been other times in my life, like, I don't think I ever told you this story, but when I moved to Sweden in 2006, my wife and I were into this. It's a long story, but I'll make it as short as I can. That one of our friends recommended this natural gas company called Ultra Petroleum in Houston, and we knew absolutely nothing about it. And he didn't really either. He just got a tip from a friend who said, "Look, my friend has invested this amount of money, and he's made 10 times the amount of money in 2 months. It just keeps doubling. It was kind of a startup company."
Okay.
So we were like, all right, we have a little bit of money to put in. So we went into, we bought options, call options, that whole world.
I do not.
Okay, well, it's essentially like betting on a stock. Mm-hmm. If it goes up,
like the opposite of a short?
You can win. Yeah, you can win. You can make 10 times your money, 1,000 times your money if it goes up over the strike price. Yeah. But you could lose it all too if it doesn't reach that price by a certain date.
Okay.
So it's really like betting in that sense. So we put in like $5,000 just as a test thing. That goes to $10,000 in like a week. So then we put in $20,000 more of our own money. So we have $30,000. That goes to $60,000.
Oh,
then shit. It goes to $150,000. Then it goes to $300,000. Then it goes to $600,000. This is in the course of like 2 months.
What?
This is right before I moved here. Uh-huh. And we're following the advice of this guy, this random guy on the internet. We're in this group, of people.
Oh man, you're like the first Wall Street. What do they call them? The Reddit.
But it was just this guy that knew the industry and he said the earnings report's going to come out here, so sell here and then buy back in here. And everything he said was right on. They went down when he said it was going to go down. It went up when we said it. So we sold and we bought back in and made double our money. Then sold
and you said thanks, Bernie.
No, it was all legit.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe this guy had some insider information, but what did I care?
Yeah.
Stranger on the internet. Mm-hmm. And so, by the time of my wedding in June 2006, we're now up to $2 million.
What? From 10,000?
From 30,000.
30,000.
Yeah, $2 million.
Oh yeah, because you put another 20. Okay.
So it went from like 150 to 300 to 600 to 1 million and 2 million. And now every step of the way, every single person I know is like, you gotta cash that.
Get out.
Get out. And I was like, and they were telling me this, to be fair, from like 30,000.
Yeah.
You're like,
well, I was winning on my own. Yeah.
And so when we go on our honeymoon to Italy, we went to Amalfi Coast, Positano and Ravello. Oh. And previous to that, when I was my full-time job when I moved here to Sweden was just watching this stock. I was like, pressing refresh every 10 minutes on this thing, just boom, 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 boom. Because in my mind, as soon as it started to crater, I was out, and I had a sell point where if it hit a certain thing, not like set up, unfortunately, which I should have done, which you can do. You can do it automatically. I was more like I'm watching it every 10 minutes. So we go on our honeymoon.
No,
and this is 2006. I think there was smartphones, but
it's pretty new.
We didn't really have them
before the iPhone,
and it didn't. Certainly didn't work in Italy. Whatever phone we had, to have connection. So we have a great day, a honeymoon type day. Had a great day. And right before we go out to dinner, I'm like, I'm going to go down to the lobby. They have like those computers in the hotel computers. You can log in.
I remember that. I used to go to the.
And I go in and this fucking UPL has cratered on day one of our honeymoon, and on that day we lost $800,000. Now. You still got amazing for my wife. I come back up to the thing. She's like, "How was it?" I was like, "Well, it wasn't the best day."
Did you sell everything?
No. So my thought at that point was like, "Well, I can't sell now."
What was the guy saying?
The guy was totally in. He's like, I don't know what this is. It's just a blip. I don't know. I forget if it was the earnings or the gas report that came out. But he's like, just hold. It's like this is it's gonna reverse itself. Tomorrow's gonna bounce right back. This guy's always been right. And I think we were thinking about maybe selling to. So we the next morning when it opened, I was on the computer, checking it out in the lobby, and it went down so much at the beginning that we lost like another $500,000-600,000. Boom, right? So if I tried to sell then. Now it was like 600,000, 700,000 or something.
I just started with 30.
I know, but I was still like, at that time I was thinking we get 2 more rounds of this, and then it's going to be 4 million, then it's going to be 10 million, then we'll get out. Then that'll be nice money, $10 million.
That'll be nice money.
That'll be good. That'll be some coin. So, long story short, we lost it all.
Everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, because if it doesn't hit the price, it's worthless. And it went down so much that they became essentially worthless. So that was an example of letting it ride. Did not work out, as was today's this week's bet, where my sons, again, it's funny, my sons are now involved in my degeneracy.
This is great.
My sons are like, just cash it out now. And I was like, now? I had the same feeling. I was like, why would I get
this never
2,500 when I can get 6,500 if this hits?
Yeah. Who would if it had happened before, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the one good thing, just in that story, we did buy our apartment here in Sweden during that time. So we used a little bit of that money for that.
Okay, smart.
And so that's the one, saving grace.
At least you turned $30K into an apartment.
Yeah, which, we turned into our house now. So it does have a happy ending.
Okay, good.
But long story short, I should have cashed out on this. Because both the Pacers and the Timberwolves come back from 3-2 deficits to win the 2 games, screwing my bet and leaving me penniless. Now,
I thought you hedged the Timberwolves. Oh, it didn't matter, right? Because the Pacers. You never had the Pacers winning.
no, but we've been underestimating the Pacers this entire time. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. They're my favorite team now.
Did you see
Pacers Timberwolves are my favorite
You know, with the
team.
first episode, I actually did mention the Pacers. I said they were going to beat the Bucks, I thought. And then I just bet against them after that. Speaking of cashing out, did you see the OKC bettor, the guy who bet the Thunder to win it all?
Yeah, it was in our group chat. Yeah.
He bet the Rangers to win the World Series.
That was the one I meant. Like,
Chiefs.
somebody should cash out. Is that guy?
He did cash out, and speaking of this, I was ruthlessly making fun of this guy, and it turns out he was right. My sons were like, "The guy cashed out." I was like, "What?" And he cashed out for $80,000.
Okay.
It was $100 bet he had made, and
To me, that's the part people don't think about.
Yeah.
Where you started.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but he's obviously a smarter man than I in that sense. Although, if they had won, you know,
Don't think
that's
about
why
that. I wouldn't have watched. I wouldn't have watched anymore. I cash out and then it's over.
He cashed out for $80,000, and then
Okay.
the Thunder lost, so it would have been worthless.
Yep, it lost
I still
$100.
think if he had let it ride, that they might have won that series.
For him, do it for Larry.
Karma, gods might have done it. Let's start with the West.
Yeah,
Minnesota Timberwolves have arrived, I guess.
Yes, they have
that's
arrived.
the story of the playoffs. Very surprising to me that Anthony Edwards is doing this. It was so ahead of schedule, really. And everyone has gone from saying, you know, the Nuggets were the unbeatable team, and that it was an insurmountable gap between them and the Celtics, according to Bill Simmons and Ryan Russillo. And now it's the Timberwolves that are the team of the du jour of the week. I'm still not totally sold on this team.
Same.
I feel like there's still it's a little early for him to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Edwards, although they look really good.
I was going to say, as a team, they look good.
As a team, they look great. And I think the Gobert thing, I mean, in every year past, that dude's just been attacked on defense. And the Nuggets really didn't have wings to do that with. And I think Doncic
Dallas?
and Dallas, well, I mean, Dallas, P.J. Washington and Daniel Gafford have been going off as far as supporting players. But I still think Doncic, is it Doncic or Doncic?
Luka?
I should know that by now. I want to say Doncic.
Yes, I want to say that too.
Kyrie is, I mean, it's the amazing thing of this playoffs for me is he is making me root for him for the first time since the Celtics debacle.
You can't talk for shit today.
I'm terrible. I never know which accent I should be going with now, especially speaking English to Swedes, speaking Swedish to Americans. I'm all mixed up.
Okay.
Doncic, I'll call him that for now. He reminds me so much of like an old man, playing rec league. It's fascinating to watch him.
Yeah.
Because it's like, me playing against my kids when they were younger, almost type thing.
But not on defense, though. He doesn't seem like old man at the rec league is going to give you some problems on defense. That's that's my own thing with him.
He's not terrible on defense. He's so big.
Yeah, he's a big dude, but maybe that's why. Maybe he's lumbering a bit. I don't know. I just don't see him
Interesting with him is like every year you think, is this the year he's going to come in shape? Because he's pretty roly-poly dude. And I don't think that's ever going to happen. I mean, it's kind of the Charles Barkley thing again. I mean, I remember Barkley every year, people were like,
That's terrible.
that was good use of that. I know every year people were expecting, like, man, is this the year that he's going to come back in shape? And it's like, no. And Shaq, same thing, kind of never got in shape, really.
Right.
He just, and you can see from their perspective, if they're that dominant, they're like, why? And I can eat this much? Why would I?
Yeah.
Why would I do it?
But I listened to Barkley on Shannon Sharp thing, and he was on their podcast, and he was talking about how he did finally, like Moses Malone got him in shape.
Yeah,
and
but that was when he was younger, right?
Right. Yeah. When he first came out of college,
he just forgot all those lessons.
Yeah. He didn't have Moses Malone on him anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to me that these athletes who are have this much at stake can't just hire someone to
just follow the rules, follow that
beyond
person's
them all the time.
Yeah.
Although I should mention, like, I can sympathize when I was shooting the show You, Me, Her.
Mm-hmm.
The show was over 5 seasons, and the show was shot, you want to call it chronologically or sequentially, where at the end of every season, the first scene of the following season picked up where the last thing left off, the exact same scene. And the whole 5 seasons, 50 episode show was only supposed to be over the course of like 3 months. And so in my contract, I was supposed to stay the same weight. So I, like Doncic, did have this incentive every year to, when it was to get back to that weight, and I failed miserably. I was,
Wow.
It's fascinating to watch. If you want to watch that show, just to see. I mean, if you buy the time frame of the show, my character Jack Trikarsky essentially gains like 25 pounds in 3 months. If you're buying what's happening in the show.
Wow.
I mean, it was a stressful time in his life.
Yeah.
We'll say with some relationship issues, but it's if you look for me from season 1 to 5, it's disgusting actually how much weight I'm disgusted with myself.
Shit, why don't you get a trainer? And you giving these guys
That's what
shit.
I'm saying. I can sympathize. So
okay.
And that's why a lot of people refer to me as the Luka Doncic of
of acting, of television.
I get that a lot. The other series, so we had the OKC Dallas. That was back and forth, really, and that was a better series. Even though the other series went 7, I think that was a better series in terms of competitiveness. Every game kind of came down to the end.
Yeah.
Both the Timberwolves and the Knicks Pacers series were blowout city every game.
Yep.
Which kind of went back and forth. I think the NBA is happy that Edwards is in there instead of, for whatever reason.
No, they probably would like Denver.
You think Jokic?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The international appeal for that.
Yeah, but that doesn't.
But you still got Doncic.
Yeah, I think they like this matchup, and I think Edwards is the guy that's going to kind of take the mantle of.
He's so charismatic, man.
He's also, the Olympics are coming up this summer as well, so he might be the star of that as well.
Have you heard that he might be Michael Jordan's son? Have you heard that theory?
No, I wish you had told me that earlier. So I could have done a deep dive.
Yeah. Next episode, we're doing a dip into Anthony Edwards Jordan.
Is there some sort of connection between his mother and she was in the same town?
They were saying that, he lived, Jordan was playing with the Wizards, and he was saying that he was with like 3 to 4 women a week or something like that. He was just talking about his exploits at the time, and that he grew up without. And Jordan said in some interview or something, I don't know how many kids I got out there, type of thing.
Okay,
so that
that's
probably
enough
means
for me.
he's raw dogging.
That's enough evidence for me. You heard it here first. Michael Jordan Jr. is coming to the Western Conference Finals. Eastern Conference, I think the NBA is a bit bummed out that the Knicks didn't make it.
But it's better for the NBA that they didn't, with the injuries and shit that they were having going on.
Yeah, although I would have preferred once Jalen Brunson got hurt. There was a moment.
You're like, let's go, New York.
There was a moment there in the fourth quarter of that game when Brunson was out with a broken hand, where I was like, they're going to come back and win this, and the Celtics are going to get a Brunson-less Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. My Celtics, as I said, 16-2 is the goal, and we're right on schedule.
As I said.
What? I still think
16-2 was the goal.
Well, I mean,
I said,
that's
you thought they were when we last talked. You thought they were going to sweep.
Yeah, and they basically did.
No, what do you mean basically?
They gave them that one game again, just like the Heat game when they kind of fall asleep.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
so that's not what the best team does.
Wins in 5 games.
No, exactly. That's not what the best team of all time does. You were saying that
16-2. I think we'll put them on. There will be a case for them to be the greatest team of all time. It's really getting
foul on the play, man.
It's really getting hurt by their competition. And there was a while we were out, Tony Maserati is a radio host in Boston who kind of talked about the path to the championship, and I sent you that clip, right?
Yeah,
Have you seen it?
No, it was playing. I was setting this up. So
Okay,
I don't.
I want to get your reaction to it because it's been talked about a lot in the Boston area, but I just want to see what you think of it. Classic Boston sports radio.
They go through the whole thing winning like this. Isn't that hollow? Doesn't it feel kind of... look, the championship's a championship. The parade is the parade. But doesn't the value come in withstanding the pushback? It's supposed to be about having to fight for it. That's where the value of a championship comes.
Listen.
I mean, if you just want to win an easy championship, seriously.
What's wrong with winning an easy championship?
Well, then why don't we just have them play in the local youth competition?
It's the NBA.
Okay.
No.
But what's the difference?
What's the difference? People just talking, man.
Well, that's...
Just be talking.
I mean, I think that's always the difference between a fan's perspective and a sports radio or commentator's perspective. The fan, like we talked about last time, we want the easiest path. I wanted the Brunsonless Knicks in these two conference finals. The championship is the thing.
Right.
And I mean...
And nobody's going to think back and say, except for the bubble, it's the only thing that kind of gets... But like that shortened strike season...
Yeah. I mean, there's a million things you could... Almost every championship, you could say, what if so-and-so didn't get injured? What if this didn't happen?
But you're still hoisting up a goddamn banner.
Yeah.
In the end.
All that being said, I am a little, defensive about it because it has been a remarkably easy path for the Celtics so far. This Pacers team is good, though, I think. And
I think they're going to win 2 games.
You do?
You think they're going to sweep the Pacers?
I think they're going to sweep the Pacers, yeah. Easily. I think every game will be by 10 points or more.
Okay.
But I've been proven wrong in the first 2 rounds twice. They have lost 2 games. I still think, weirdly, the Celtics team is undervalued and underestimated, even though they have the best odds.
You don't think there's a possibility that they're accurately valued?
Well, I mean, if you look at the Vegas odds, they're incredible favorites to win the title. But yet, when you hear from the pundits, it tends to be Minnesota now as the favorites in the. For me, that's what I'm hearing in the public eye. I think most people think Minnesota is going to win now. Mm-hmm. Still waiting on Porzingis, of course. He's a big key, especially in the finals. I don't know if they necessarily need him against Indiana. They shouldn't. But he's on track to come back, I think, in the middle of this series. On game 3, I think is what he's shooting for.
So you've watched the Celtics and you felt like, man, it's the best team I've ever seen in the playoff. Best playoff team.
I think part of the reason why I think the team is so good, is so talented, is that they haven't really played well. And they've won 2 series in 5 games.
Is this real?
You were searching for something there.
I can't believe this is happening. That you were saying this shit.
I mean, they've played for them fairly mediocre in the playoffs, and they've won, and they're 8-2 in the playoffs. Okay. That's how talented they are. They can play their C game and still win, and no other team can really do that. So that's my take.
Against the injured Heat team, missing their best player.
If they sweep the Pacers. And if they sweep the Timberwolves or the Mavericks, will you then give it up for the Boston Celtics? No?
Sure, I guess. I won't. There's nothing that'll make me say they're the best team ever. No, I've seen better teams in playoffs.
What if they win each by 100 points? Surely there's something that'll convince you. But I don't care about what Tony Maserati says. I'm just looking for the championship. I don't care if you think they're the best team ever. I want a championship.
That's what.
Me and my kids, we have a thing on our refrigerator every playoffs. I think I've sent this to you in the chat maybe over the years, where we have 16 down to 1.
Immediate delete.
And after after every win, we cross it off. We as a ceremonially.
That's cute.
Thank you. And it's at 8 right now. We're stuck at 8. Mm-hmm. There's been years when it's stayed there. The saddest one was the finals, because then we got down to 2. We were very close. But I'm expecting a fairly easy Celtics win over the Pacers in this playoffs.
Okay.
We didn't talk about this last time, but I wanted to ask you, as a bald man, what you thought about. I was really uncomfortable last playoffs with Shaq and the TNT guys going after Derek White's hairline.
Yeah, I don't like that when they do that.
I feel like he missed. I mean, and he comes back this year magically, bald, and so it worked. I mean,
what should he do?
They essentially shamed him. His his hairline. They were laughing their ass off about it last year.
Yeah.
And it became a thing. And I don't know. I just feel like there's something weird about that. Like somebody, distance. I don't know. You don't feel the same way.
No, man.
You weren't super.
They're just fucking with it. They're just talking shit. They have a good time.
Yeah, but I mean that's like there's something about that feels very. It's almost over the line embarrassing to me.
No.
You weren't embarrassed if someone was making fun of your hairline back in the day?
Like when I'm holding on at the last before I cut my hair off. I would. No, it didn't happen so much. I was in the military. I don't know.
Really? Nobody was.
I mean, I guess. No, not really. I mean, have you seen me and my wit? I would roast a motherfucker if you come at me. All right, I'm gonna light you up.
So it wasn't a sensitive topic for you at all.
No, I'll be like, all right, I guess I need to maybe after, but I'm gonna get you with my jokes, and then I'll eventually I'm gonna shave it. But
I think he missed a golden opportunity last year. If he had
to get a hair transplant,
to come back with even more hair. Be like, I can grow it.
Come in with the Turkish Airlines thing. Yeah, have you seen that Turkish Airlines they call it?
No, but if he had shaved it last year, I think it was during the playoffs that they were making fun of him. If he had shaved it and then
that's bad.
And then said like, listen, I'd shave my head, I'm sorry, but I shame them back and be like, I don't think you should talk about another man's hairline like that. And then it would have been great. Everyone would have been on his side.
Fuck out of here! Don't do that. Listen, don't do that. You don't come on. I shave my hair because you guys are making fun of me. Don't make fun of a man. No, man. He did the right thing. He pretended he didn't hear anything about it, and then you know who's holding the line? Kevin Durant.
Mm.
He's holding the line.
LeBron as well. He's
no. I'm talking about Kevin Durant. It's not about his hairline or whatever, or he is balding or whatever on the top. But Kevin Durant seems like he doesn't give a fuck, and that's what you should do. Even though in other ways he seems like he gives too much of a fuck.
But I just think if those guys, I don't think they would do that to Durant. But if they did have
I'm sure
hysterically
they did. No,
laughing.
he don't brush his hair. That's the thing with him. He got the little naps.
Okay.
So that's what they were like, damn. I can see them roasting him for that. But LeBron had the hairline thing. He just played it. He did a whole thing with brushing it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just jabbing with each other. That's
a lot to talk about on the hairline.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was the one who brought it up. I just feel like I don't know. For me, that's over the line as an analyst. When you talk about someone's looks in general, I think, especially with those TNT guys, because those clips go viral and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
When you're making fun of somebody's looks, that's a bit.
Is it over the line when Charles
sensitive?
Barkley talks about the women of San Antonio?
Well, that's not a specific woman. That's a generalization. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm okay if he's making fun of bald men.
Okay, but just one bald man.
Yeah.
Okay. One bald Celtic.
Yeah, I'm a little more sensitive to that because he's one of a member of the greatest starting five in NBA history.
I hadn't pegged you for a snowflake.
The Knicks, shame that the season ended like that for them. I actually mean it. I have no hatred towards the Knicks.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I love New York. I lived in New York for 10 years before I moved here.
I like New York too.
I think it's the greatest city in the world by far. And so I think that what they've done in setting up that franchise now going forward, they're going to get someone in the offseason. What's his name? Not Miles Bridges, the other Bridges from the Nets.
I don't know.
Todd Bridges.
Didn't he die?
The fuck is I shouldn't just having a brain fart on it. He's one of the best players in the league too. Bridges from the Nets. It'll come to me in a second. Or Devin Booker. Or who's the other guy that might be available?
Did you hear what Kevin Garnett had to say about
Donovan Mitchell. Mikal Bridges.
Did you hear what Kevin Garnett had to say about that?
About someone going to the Knicks? No.
He said, "Fuck that, run it back."
Well, on that note, this year's Minnesota Timberwolves are essentially the same team as last year. Who lost in the first round. They ran it back. So the success of this year's Timberwolves are giving hope to sports teams everywhere on the run it back theory, because usually people have we lost in the first round, we got to blow it up. Team. You got a young team, yeah. But still, they didn't really do anything in the offseason. Maybe one or two guys are different. I think they brought in what's his name, Slow-Mo, but essentially it's the same nucleus as last year's team, and it's working. You know, so they're giving hope to fans everywhere whose team kind of crapped out the year before and did nothing in the offseason. You'll always be able to say, like, what if they all just get much better?
No, but
here's my plan. Everyone gets better in the offseason.
The reason that works for New York is because injuries took them out, and probably won't get blasted by injuries again.
I still think they overachieved this year, so I still think they need one more player. So either Bridges, Mitchell, or Devin Booker would fit really nice, I think, there. And they're going to be a problem next year. So I like the Celtics in 4. What's your prediction in the Celtics-Pacers?
Celtics in 6.
Celtics in 6. Okay. Pacers looking tough. Halliburton's looking good, although he's a little on and off.
I wouldn't be surprised if
TJ McConnell off the bench. My God. Speaking of our white guy theory, I am rooting extra hard for him.
I bet.
He is. What a joy he is to watch.
Joy. That still over-the-shoulder pass.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
He's.
I saw it coming, too.
It's fascinating to watch him, actually, because you don't really know how he gets his shot off, and he kind of shoots in front of his body a bit.
Yeah.
But he has this really cool kind of mid-range game.
Yeah, the little gliding floater.
He's a guy I know because I play fantasy basketball. Whenever someone's injured, or whenever Halliburton's injured, he gets in the starting lineup. He's like a fantasy god, TJ McConnell. He's 22 points, 15 assists, and gets rebounds too. So he's probably one of those guys that's like in the back of his head is like, I should be fucking starting somewhere. You know, he's like, I could be an all-star. I think Peyton Pritchard feels the same way too.
Okay, I was thinking more of he's a gamer, man, just like ready to go.
He certainly is. Has been in the playoffs. He's been one of the best players to watch. Celtics in 4, I think. Come
on, man.
I'm just telling you what I think. Okay, I can only give my opinion. That's what I get paid to do. The Mavericks. At the beginning of this playoffs, I actually bet on a Celtics-Mavericks finals. If you remember,
you had the bet out there.
Yes,
you made the bet.
Yes, I made the bet, and I think I said it on this podcast, but maybe I didn't. But that was my prediction when this playoff started was Celtics Mavericks. So I'm going to have to stick with that. I think the Timberwolves now are overvalued because of this their win over Denver, and I think their luck will run out. And I say Mavericks in 6 is my prediction.
Ooh.
Who do you like in the Mavericks Timberwolves?
I feel like I just can't go against Kyrie Irving.
Well, so
like anytime they need somebody to step up,
you can't go against my prediction.
Or you. I think it's you might end up being right, Mavs and Celtics, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Pacers beat the Celtics.
Really?
Yeah. If
you think so, and if anybody who's watching this thinks so, there's some great bets to be made. If on the Indiana side, if you think they're going to beat the Celtics, there's bets on the finals. Indiana to beat Minnesota. Indiana is like Indiana to beat the Mavericks is like 71-1. Indiana to beat the Timberwolves is like 50-something to 1, and either of those teams to beat Indiana is also like 12 and 20-1. So you would bet on all 4 of those basically, and then if the Timberwolves, if the Pacers win, you win anywhere from 12 to 70 times your money, regardless, depending on the scenario. Okay. I don't think it's a fucking shot in hell of that. The Pacers beating the Celtics, but
I mean,
go for it, man.
If you bet it now.
Are you taking the Pacers just to?
No, man.
So you're not.
I'm not
really
taking them. I'm just saying no. I liked what I saw. I liked what I saw against sometimes they just look like a really good team.
Yeah, sometimes.
And sometimes the Celtics look like a mediocre team.
Yep. And they still win.
So if
going
it matches up, they're playing a better team now. If it matches up, are the Pacers better than the Cavs? Come on, man.
I mean, a full strength Cavs.
We're talking about the Cavs that y'all played.
Yeah, definitely, because with no Jared Allen and no Mitchell at the end of that series either.
Oh, yeah. He'll be a Heat player, so.
All those guys could be Heat players, too. But I think the Knicks, have now made themselves a destination, which they, the James Dolan problem they had before was keeping people away, and I think people can overlook that now because of how the team and the city have responded. So it'll be a good conference finals thing. Just to wrap up, I don't have a race relations segment.
Thank God.
Do you have one?
No, I never will.
I mean, we did the TJ McConnell thing.
Listen, man, I got white friends. Just because I'm your black friend.
I did want to just quickly, because this is something that's kind of.
I do kind of a race thing if you wanted to.
Oh, well, okay, go ahead.
I'm not race. I mean, what do you feel about the Caitlin Clark thing? About the people saying that fouling, like playing her tough. It's not a race thing. I guess it's a race thing in the way you think about it.
What?
As the Great White Hope thing from that angle. You like to play that angle. I've noticed.
No, I don't think. I mean, I don't.
But she's like fantastic player. She's now in the WNBA. They're playing her tough.
I love it. I love seeing those with her getting smacked by these.
Yeah.
And most of the plays I've seen have just been like legal picks that she's just running into walls.
And that's on your teammate. Call the screen.
For me, it's like old school. It's how the NBA used to be when a rookie came in. Like there was everyone was like, oh, you're hot shit. Like well, check this out. An elbow to the face.
So, but what do you think about the people saying
that she's getting?
They're fucking up the bag type of thing.
Oh well, I mean, if they are doing that, actually, I'm not sure they are. I think they're just
I don't think they are.
Introducing her to the league. I mean, it's certainly understandable the resentment they must have to that girl. She's coming in, and they must be thinking she's nowhere near as good as us,
right?
And making all this money, like, welcome to my shoulder.
Okay, I'm glad you
introduce you to my elbow.
Because I know I don't think it's a racial element to it. But I think it's
I think there's a jealousy kind of resentment thing, which is understandable. I think since she's got so much thing.
But I also think there's an appreciation for it too. Like if people are tuning in to watch her, then they're gonna see me D her up.
Yeah.
Where she can't score, and they're like, "Oh, who's that?"
Yeah.
Or scoring on crossing her up, or you know what I mean? And then now here comes my contract. So
has she won a game yet? I think she's lost every one of her games.
She went off the other night, but I think they lost.
Okay, it'd be funny if she was winless. I don't know. I know she lost the first 3.
I think they won the other night. I don't know.
In my life right now, I can't get away from this. Well, how are you? What's your take on like conspiracies? Are you into any conspiracies?
Do I look like I'm into conspiracies?
Good, thank God. I am.
I don't fuck with that.
I fucking hate conspiracists, and I think it's ruining the world, but especially the U.S. How much people are into them. Every single conspiracy falls apart once you realize no, like 3 people can't decide. Like can't agree on what lunch to order. Never mind agree on some massive secret, some conspiratorial fucking plan. The moon landing is like one of my favorite ones. Like that, I always think about that when that people actually think like there was a sound guy that must have been involved. If it's fake, there was like a sound guy. There's a boom operator. There's so many people there that eventually would have been like, "Hey, I remember times are tough. I'm gonna sell my story." Not to mention the
NDA would have run out by now.
Not to mention the astronauts who
faked it.
Yeah. who like trained their whole lives, and then someone comes in and be like, "Hey, we got a proposition for you." Yes, the downside is you could potentially risk your reputation and ruin everything for the rest of your life and be a laughingstock of your family and the nation. But upside, if everybody stays quiet, you're the moon guy.
Yeah, that was one. Or people saying, how come we never went back?
But the reason I'm talking about this right now is there's this trial going on in Massachusetts, the Karen Reed trial. Do you know anything about this?
No.
It's so funny. Just like because it's everywhere in my world, and everyone I know is watching this trial. And obviously, I'm in a Boston bubble in that sense, with my friends from back home and people I follow on the internet. It'll definitely be like a Netflix series at some point. It's too juicy. Not.
So what happened? Tell me the juice.
It's a long story, and
so Karen, let me guess.
Everybody probably who's watching this on the Kirk Minahan network.
They're into it.
I'm sure. I mean, everybody knows. I think every single person is watching this trial or knows about it. Long story short,
Was she asking for the manager?
What?
Oh, I thought her name's Karen. I thought she was.
Okay, nice.
She weaponizing the police or no?
Run with that. Keep going with that. What else you got? Long story short, there's a bunch of cops and ex-cops and people like basically my age who are out drinking at a bar. The bar closes and they decide to go. It's a snowy Boston winter night. Mm-hmm. And they decide to go back to one of their houses, a retired cop's house for an after party, basically. This woman, Karen Reed, and her boyfriend, who's a cop himself, drive there. According to everyone in the house, the guy never went inside, right?
Okay.
There's like 10 people inside the house.
Okay.
Roughly, don't all these people who are obsessed with this trial. I might be wrong about these little details.
Might be 11.
And long story short, the next morning, this guy, the cop who arrived with her, is found dead on the lawn, just off the driveway.
Oh, shit.
And she claims that she dropped him off, and then everybody else there, a lot of witnesses and her friends claim that when they drove back to the next morning, because she was looking for him, she went back with friends, and she saw him a little too early. She's like, oh, there he is. And they're like, where? And like, on the lawn. And then she's like, oh my God, I hit him. I must have hit him. Like, so, and there's evidence of like pieces of her tail light, which is also, up for debate, that, they were found at the scene. Anyway, the simplest explanations, this girl was drunk and either hit him after an argument or hit him by mistake, and he was found there. Now, virtually every single person I know, and every person online, and every person who's following this case now believes the opposite, that there is a conspiracy, that all the people inside the house are lying, that the guy came inside, someone killed them there, and they dumped him on the front lawn, which is also a weird thing. And not only that, they all conspired to blame it on this innocent woman, and they're all okay with it. And for me, the entire conspiracy, I mean, believe me, I could be wrong, and I would love to be proven wrong on this, because then it would at least justify all these people who are so obsessed with this case. But that just there's no plausible scenario where that makes sense to me.
No, and they're cops.
15 people can. And it's not just the people that are inside the house. There's also EMTs that came on the scene, and when they arrived, they say, "Oh, she said she was saying, oh my God, I hit him." And people are like, "Yeah, but that woman's they're lying too. They're in, like, those people are in on it because they went to high school with the people inside the house." And it's just this whole thing, and it's really depressing for me, because one of my best friends just started messaged me this past week about the case. And I was like, yeah, I can't. He's like, you watching the trial? I was like, yeah, I can't believe like all these dummies like are thinking this conspiracy. And he was like, what? Like he was totally in on it. And he's like, you don't know the case. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, oh my God, this is like, I mean, especially in cases like this, anytime you do a deep dive, and there's been, it started really with this blogger who started really looking into the case and finding all these inconsistencies. And now it's like it's an industry. There's like 10 of the most watched YouTube channels right now are dealing with this case. And there's no real money to be made saying like, I think they're all telling the truth and she did it.
Yeah,
it's all the conspiratorial stuff and
stuff,
like, look at this, look at this, look at this. But this family, and not just the family, it's extended family. There's like nieces, nephews, girlfriends of people inside the house. People are in that town and on the internet are now obsessed with. I mean, they're calling them murderers and liars. And if I'm right, that she actually did this, and if the prosecution is right, these people literally did nothing. They had a party. The guy didn't show up to the house, and now an entire town, like, they're gonna have to leave the town. Entire town thinks that they're lying and murderers.
And they're not gonna. No, but these people who want to believe that aren't going to back down, because
there's no way. My friend was like, "I want to. Let's bet she's going to be found factually innocent." And I was like, first of all, I don't know.
What's her plea?
What do you mean not guilty? What do you mean? What's her plea?
I'm saying she's saying. I don't know how he died.
She's saying she's no idea. So she's saying I didn't say that. I didn't say I hit him. She's backtracking on all that stuff. And the defense is going after these witnesses. Like, the defense is making the thing like these people killed them, covered up. So they're going all in on this conspiracy theory. So she's going to get off, I think, either way, because it reminds me a lot of the OJ case, actually, because the prosecution is running circles around the defense. I mean, prosecution is so much. Reverse that. The defense is running circles around the prosecution. Okay. Prosecution is pretty bad, and it's really confusing how they're introducing the evidence, and the defense is just attacking every witness and like, you didn't say that here, you said that here. Why are you changing now? You're lying then, or you're lying now? And these people are not. And the witnesses are so bad that also lends credence to my theory that it couldn't be a conspiracy. Like, they're too stupid to all keep it together. But I fucking hate conspiracists.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's killing the U.S. The same with the election. The stop the steal stuff, which is like, so factually incorrect and has been debunked so many times, and you just can't. people see a movie or they go to do a deep dive on these things and they see all these things. You can't, same thing with the flat Earth people and the moon landing people. They think they know more than you do. So it's like you haven't done the research. If you don't
wake
know.
up, man.
And so it's impossible to argue against it. So. I'm hoping this comment section doesn't turn into a whole Karen Reed thing because it could get really ugly. Since everybody, like I said, everyone is convinced that I'm wrong, and that there is a conspiracy. But I still have yet to hear.
Isn't that always the easiest solution? Is
of course
most likely.
that's what I mean. It's like in order to believe there's a conspiracy, there's like 15 people that have to be lying about this who are
and keeping their lie together
and keeping the lie or. Hear me out. They could be telling the truth.
Or she don't remember. She blacked out. She was blacked out drunk.
I think that's what happened.
And then she did some shit,
Anyway, you should check it out. The Karen Reed trial. And, to all you conspiracists out there, fuck off. I can't deal with
that. That's what I was trying to do.
He feels like someone who might be into
He did that conspiracy. Shit, man.
So I've been watching that trial.
I'm a fun guy.
I actually saw we'll end with this. I saw a like Instagram post or whatever from actually one of the rookie WNBA players, the tall girl for LA. I forget her name. It's terrible
the tall girl. Okay.
She just got drafted like third or fourth or maybe even second in the draft.
Is it Aja Wilson?
No, white girl.
White girl. Oh yeah, the one everybody's saying she's like a model now.
Yeah.
Okay, Maya something like that. Some of the M.
So. Anyway, she was talking about she hung out with Kawhi Leonard. I think she was talking with Paul George on some podcast.
Oh, cool.
But she was like, he's the funniest guy I've ever met.
Kawhi Leonard. Oh shit.
And he was agreeing and saying like, yeah, he's he's sneaky funny.
Obviously, I love the game of basketball.
So I'm looking forward to his second career maybe as a podcaster down the line.
Nah, I doubt it.
All right, so I have Celtics, Mavericks, and I guess you do too.
Yeah,
fucking unbelievable.
No, I want the Timberwolves to go all the way.
Can you at least pick one team that I don't pick?
Timberwolves and
say the Pacers. Come on, man, say it.
I don't think the Pacers will beat the Celtics, but I'm gonna say Timberwolves will beat the Celtics in the finals. Okay,
I say we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I have the Celtics, Mavs, and I hate a spoiler alert. You know what I have as the final score of that series? Sweep.
4-0.
Celtics over Mavs. Yeah. I had all sweeps going into this, so I'm 8-2 or 8-2. Over 2, I guess.
And sweeps. Over 2 and sweeps.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Sorry to get sidetracked with the conspiracy talk. But as always, this is the #1 NBA podcast in the world. Signing off.
It's good.
Later.
All right.